60 Minutes. Why did Trump cancel the damn 60 Minutes interview? You will be led to believe by MAGA, by Trump, by Trump's advisors, by dilettantes and by whoever. You will be led to believe that Trump canceled because the interview would have been unfair, because they were going to do this, that, or the other thing. There is a damning video of Scott Pelley explaining what the Trump administration, or the Trump campaign rather, wanted from them in terms of the interview that would not be on 60 Minutes. Take a listen to this.
Then, a week ago, Trump backed out. The campaign offered shifting explanations. First, it complained that we would fact-check the interview. We fact-check every story. Later, Trump said he needed an apology for his interview in 2020. Trump claims correspondent Leslie Stahl said in that interview that Hunter Biden's controversial laptop came from Russia. She never said that. Trump has said his opponent doesn't do interviews because she can't handle them. He had previously declined another debate with Harris, so tonight may have been the largest audience for the candidates between now and Election Day.
How pathetic is this? How pathetic is this? Trump is the guy who claims to be a tough negotiator, and he can't even sit down for 60 minutes and answer a few real questions. And let's be real, this is what Trump always does. He loves the stage when it's about him and praising him, and he's this pseudo deity that everybody should be genuflecting in front of. But here's a moment, an opportunity for accountability. How will you achieve the things you claim you will be able to achieve? We will fact check, as we do everybody. There's nothing special. It's not biased to fact check Trump. It would be biased not to fact check Trump. And this gets us to a critical principle about a group that wants you to believe that they are the pinnacle of manliness and strength and all of it. They want you to believe that everything is biased against them. But the reality is that if they got what they wanted, everything would be biased in their favor. Because as Scott Pelley explains there, we fact check everybody. How many of us have seen 60 Minutes piece after 60 Minutes piece where they're interviewing someone, the person says something, it cuts to voiceover, and it says, when we investigated, we determined that A is actually not true. B is true. When we asked the guest for proof of A, they simply said they would get back to us. As of this moment, they never did, right? We all know that 60 Minutes voiceover. If they didn't fact check Trump, it would be biased in his favor. And the reality is that for a lot of reasons, Trump can't handle a serious interview. Trump constitutionally and for personality reasons, he can't handle a serious interview. He has no real answers. Secondly, Trump doesn't even understand most of the policy that he espouses. I talked about this. I just filmed a great interview with Sean Mike Kelly. Got a big podcast here in Vegas. I taped it this morning, and hopefully it'll be out soon. And we talked about the fact that Trump has ideas. Whether they are good ideas or bad ideas is one layer of analysis. Whether Trump even understands the ideas is another layer of analysis. Trump would be confronted in a real interview, not with Brian Glenn or Real America's Voice, Right Side Broadcasting, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, whatever, with the researched empirical realities about the things he wants to do. But there's another aspect to this. Yeah, Trump can't talk policy, he can't talk solutions. His brain is also not what it was at one point in time. And what Trump has internalized is personal grievances, witch hunts, imaginary enemies, a sort of paranoid, delusional state of mind, very common among those suffering from cognitive decline. I'm not saying that's why Trump is such a triggered snowflake, but it's certainly not helping. He's a guy running for president yet again, and he refuses to show up for a basic sit-down. And so the question that we really should be asking is, if he's this afraid of 60 Minutes, how does anyone expect him to lead the country? Trump loves saying about Kamala Harris, if she can't handle the press, how could she handle Putin? Well, Trump seems to be the one enamored of Putin. Trump seems to be the one that unquestioningly accepts everything that Putin says. But if Trump can't handle 60 Minutes, how can we expect him to handle anything? Now, as a reminder, I know I played this clip last week when the 60 Minutes story started. Here is what happened with Trump last time he did 60 Minutes. He did not like basic journalistic questions from Leslie Stahl, and he just walked off in the middle of the interview.
Do you think that your tweets and your name calling are turning people off?
No, I think I wouldn't be here if I didn't have social media.
Well,
but the media is fake. And frankly, if I didn't have social media, I'd have no way of getting out my voice.
Do you know what you told me a long time ago when I asked why you keep saying fake media?
Yeah.
You said to me, I say that because I need to discredit you so that when you say negative things about me, no one will believe you.
I don't have to discredit you.
But that's what you told me.
You've discredited yourself.
I didn't want to have this kind of angry.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't.
Well, then you brought up a lot of subjects that
Well, I said
were
I'm going to ask you
inappropriately brought
tough
up.
questions.
They were inappropriately brought up right from the beginning. No, your first question was, this is going to be tough questions.
Why?
You don't ask Joe Biden. I saw your interview with Joe, the interview with Joe Biden.
I never did a Joe Biden
It was a
interview.
joke. The interview, 60 Minutes. I see Joe Biden giving softball after softball. I've seen all of his interviews. He's never been asked a question that's hard.
Okay, but forget him for a minute.
No, but you start with me.
You're president. And
Excuse me, Leslie, you started with me. Your first statement was, are you ready for tough questions?
Are you?
That's no way to talk. It's no way to talk.
Leslie, one second.
At this point, one of our producers interrupted to advise about the time remaining in the interview.
I think we have enough of an interview here, Hope. Okay, that's enough. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go meet for 2 seconds, okay? Thanks. I'll see you in a little while. Thanks.
Be careful.
Yeah, so, put everything else aside. That's also part of why Donald Trump doesn't want to do another 60 Minutes interview. And then finally, an interesting moment when Tim Walz also sat down with 60 Minutes. Everybody's doing it other than Trump. Tim Walz sat down with 60 Minutes and said, people know who I am, and they know the difference between his verbal slip-ups and Trump, who lies pathologically. Take a listen to this.
In your debate with J.D. Vance, you said, I'm a knucklehead at times. And I think you were referring to the time that you said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square unrest when you were not.
Yeah.
Is that kind of misrepresentation, isn't that more than just being a knucklehead?
I think folks know who I am, and I think they know the difference between someone expressing emotion, telling a story, getting a date wrong rather than a pathological liar like Donald Trump.
But I think it comes down to the question of whether you can be trusted to tell the truth.
Yeah, well, I can. I think I can. I will own up to being a knucklehead at times, but the folks closest to me know that I keep my word.
I have no problem with this explanation. I did have a problem last week when Tim Walz was initially questioned about, hey, you said you were in China during the Tiananmen Square situation, but you didn't get there till months later. And Walz didn't do a good job of just going, I got the dates wrong. I was there that summer. I got the dates wrong. I'm sorry. He didn't do that right away, and he didn't do that in the interview after the fact. He now has come to what he should have said at the beginning, which is, I got the dates wrong. And what I love, I actually believe that there's strength in Walz saying that for two reasons. Number one, Walz getting a date wrong is different than Trump's pathological lying. And drawing that contrast is really important. But more importantly, Trump never apologizes. Trump never says he got anything wrong. When he told the wrong story about where a hurricane was expected to go, rather than say, oh, I got that wrong, it wasn't going towards Alabama, he got a Sharpie and he drew with a Sharpie on the hurricane map. So Walz also acknowledging, I got a date wrong, makes him relatable in that way. And that's also a very interesting 60 Minutes interview in and of itself. Let's now go to Kamala Harris's opinion about Trump bailing on 60 Minutes.
Donald Trump has made it clear in a Truth Social post that if he gets elected, he will prosecute people in response to imaginary voter fraud, using the Justice Department as his personal tool for revenge. And it's crazy how conservative news outlets are framing this story, like this headline from Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire, which says Governor Burgum defends Trump against leftist outrage over his demand for fair elections. Meanwhile, when independent media outlet Mother Jones is reporting on the same story, their headline is the Trump plan to prosecute election officials and suppress the vote. So you get a totally different idea of the story depending on who's reporting it. Our sponsor, Ground News, makes it really easy to see these differences. For every news story, Ground News shows me a breakdown of how each outlet is framing the story, who owns the outlet, what their political bias is, so you can make up your own mind. I can also follow Ground News' dedicated 2024 presidential election page for each candidate, which is an amazing tool right now just to sort out fact from fiction on the race. And my viewers get 40% off the same unlimited access Vantage plan that I use when you go to ground.news/Pacman. The link is in the description.